Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to give you guys a trying to conceive update. So last month, I'm sure you figured out I did not get pregnant. I didn't make a video because I really had strong feelings that maybe I was pregnant, and I ended up being 2 days late, which is super not normal for me. And it was emotional. It was really hard for me because that was the 4th month trying, and I got pregnant with Ender on the 3rd month trying. So we have surpassed that time frame, and I know that that is so lucky to have gotten pregnant so early with Ender. And I know that it's totally normal for it to take up to a year for even really healthy couples. But nevertheless, it was still really discouraging and sad for me to go through. So I just needed to take some time to kind of regroup. So when I started kind of looking back at my charts and everything that I've tracked, I started to notice a pattern with my body. And before I tell you guys what is going on, I just want to say that I haven't seen a doctor yet, and I don't know if I should or if it's even a big deal. But there's definitely something strange going on that I've never dealt with in the past when trying to get pregnant, so I'm not really sure where to go from here. But I did something different this month to try to counteract the problem, so we'll see. So just getting straight into it, April, May, and June all have the same pattern where with the ovulation prediction kit that I've been using, the digital, Clear Blue Digital, which was super accurate for me with Ender and so helpful. I can't say enough good things about it. These last 3 months of trying, it has not worked for me the way that it claims that it does and the way that it worked for me in the past when I was pregnant with Ender. So I didn't notice the pattern until after I looked at my chart for May. So this is June, and I did something different this month to try to tweak things, but I'm just going to tell you what happened in April and May. So normally with the Clear Blue ovulation kit, I get it goes from not fertile, which is the open circle, or the empty circle I should say, and I get that for a few days when I first start testing. And then it will go to a flashing smiley face, which is high fertility. And these are the days where you want to try to get pregnant. So it's leading up to ovulation. So these are good days to try to get pregnant. And so in the past, I would get 5 flashing smiley days, which gives me ample time to have sex and try. And then it goes to a solid smiley face, which means you're going to ovulate within 24 to 48 hours or 24 to 36 hours. So it gives you all these set days where you should be trying. Since I started using the ovulation test kit this time around trying to conceive, what it's been doing the last 3 months is giving me low fertility, the empty circle for however many days. It's usually a couple days, and I anticipate it going to a flashing smiley face. So I've been waiting to start having sex until I get the flashing smiley face. And what's been happening instead of getting the flashing smiley face is I go from 0 to 100. So I get taken by surprise, and I'm at 0. I'm at low fertility straight to ovulation, which only gives me a day or two to actually have sex and try to get pregnant, which maybe that's not a big deal. I mean, I know it only takes one time, but when trying to conceive, I like to give myself lots of reassurance and lots of days of trying. The more you try, the more chances you have at potentially getting a sperm to meet the egg. So when I was only having 1 or 2 days to try, it was really, it was first of all just shocking that this was going on with my body, and I thought maybe my test is broken or faulty. But then when I started to see it happening every month, I realized that I don't know what's going on. So I usually start testing around cycle day 10 for ovulation, and I immediately get the low fertility sign, which I expected, but I anticipated that the same pattern would happen this month. So I started actually having sex when I hit the low fertility on my test, and I just did it every few days up until it switched to ovulation. And of course, like I predicted, the pattern did reappear. So I went from 0 to 100, This month I do feel a little bit better about that though. I was able to kind of get ahead of it and hopefully have a better chance of conceiving this month. Like I said, I know it can take couples up to a year to actually get pregnant, and that's fine, but you know, if there is something going on with my body, I really do need to figure out what that is, because it could be making it more difficult to get pregnant for me. One thing I didn't mention before is that when I got pregnant with Ender, I ended up having a thyroid condition caused by the pregnancy. I believe it was hyperthyroidism. Maybe it was hypothyroidism. I honestly can't remember. My doctor just reassured me that I didn't have it before pregnancy and that after pregnancy it would probably correct itself. And at 6 months postpartum, I was supposed to go in and have my thyroid tested to see if things were more balanced, and I never made it to that appointment. Postpartum is just a crazy time, and I wasn't really practicing a lot of self-care, and since then I still haven't had my thyroid tested, so I don't know how that could play a role into fertility and trying to get pregnant again, but I probably should go in and get my thyroid tested. In addition to that, it could be breastfeeding related, it could be hormones, it could just be my body changing because I've gotten older since trying to conceive the first time. I really don't know what's going on. So going forward, my plan is to, see if I get pregnant this month, and if it doesn't happen, I'm going to buy the cheap Amazon ovulation test strips. They're not digital. So if I don't get pregnant next cycle, I'm going to use the cheap Amazon test strips to track ovulation instead of the digital, hoping that seeing the tests and the line that they show maybe will give me a better indication of where I'm actually at in terms of am I getting close to ovulation or not. Because going from 0 to 100 on the digital test has just not been working for me. It's not, it's just really stressful, to be honest. So that's what I'm going to do. I've also thought about possibly drinking a fertility tea. Somebody recommended on here to use a fertility tea, so that's something that I'm probably going to look into if I don't get pregnant this month. And really briefly, I mentioned in a few videos back that with Ender's failure to thrive, I was going to update you guys on where he's at. So we actually switched insurance companies recently, and it's kind of been a bit of a nightmare just trying to get a doctor. That's a whole subject for a different day, but basically we got him in to see a new doctor, and his failure to thrive, she's not concerned about it. He was at the 5th percentile for weight at his 18-month checkup. He was like 18 and a half months at that checkup, actually. So he weighs 20 pounds and like 5 ounces, I want to say, and then 32 inches long, and that was 18 and a half months. So he's at the 5th percentile, which is a little bit under where I told you guys he was based on my own calculations. Obviously there's more room for error when you're weighing your child at home, and I knew that, so I'm not surprised that he's a little bit lower. And she basically just said to keep doing what we're doing, and she sees lots of little kids with the same body structure as his, and he looks healthy, and he's meeting his milestones, and the only real recommendation she had was to just start feeding him different varieties of foods, and that is something that we are starting to work on a little bit. I am struggling with it because with his failure to thrive, I always felt like if I find the foods that I know he loves, I'm just going to keep feeding those to him because I want him fed at the end of the day. I don't want to deal with him being picky and choosing to not eat something rather than eating stuff that I know he likes. So that's been hard. Luckily though, most of the things we've given him recently to try, he has liked. So that's great. Oh, and I wanted to show you guys too on my Fertility Friend app that I have previously showed you just what my charts have looked like over these last 3 months. So you can see what I'm talking about. If you're more of a visual person, you can see on the chart. Okay, so you can see how I go from the negative sign down on the little graph to the P for positive. So it's straight from 0 to 100. That was April. And then for May, I have 3 days of low fertility and then straight to a positive. And then this month, June, you can see that again, I have 3 days of low fertility and then straight to a positive. if you test and you follow your ovulation, I'm sure you can understand how frustrating that is. I'm just at the beginning stages of realizing that something is going on, and I'm gonna try to get it figured out, whether that means seeing a doctor or a specialist, getting my thyroid checked out. If you've gone through something like this, or you have any kind of insight into what could be going on, or if it's even an issue with trying to conceive, please let me know. I would really appreciate any advice on this. Also, I've never really vlogged before, and that's something that I feel like is kind of holding me back on my YouTube channel. And if it's something that you guys are more interested in seeing rather than just sit down videos, let me know so I can start working on that. Another thing I want to say is that I feel like I never give you guys really closure on what's going on at the end of each month when I'm in the 2-week wait, and I apologize for that. I'm new to YouTube, obviously, new to filming myself, new to publicly talking about trying to conceive, and it's something that I want to work on. So it's possible that I'm going to split this video into 2 parts, or maybe even vlog halfway through, just so that I can kind of give you guys a more clear picture of how the end of the 2-week wait happens, because last month there was so many ups and downs, and I thought afterwards that I wish I had filmed more for you guys, because there was so much I went through in terms of like having crazy symptoms, being 2 days late. There's a lot of stuff that you guys missed out on that I wish I would have shared with you, and I apologize for that. So I'm going to try harder to give you guys more closure at the end of each month and just keep you in the loop of what's actually going on. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, please turn on your bell notifications so you get notifications when I post new videos. Thank you guys so much for following along with my trying to conceive journey. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I will have good news at the end of these 2 weeks.